22nd meeting of the Board of Public Works and Safety. Roll call. Here.
Here?
Here.
Are there any conflict of interest statements?
No.
No.
Approval of the minutes, but we don't have any to approve even though they're listed here because they didn't get quite done. So we'll skip over that and go to correspondence. Item A is a request for a permit to install new cable TV cable on the south right-of-way of Field Street and existing cable TV vault at 1324 Field Street. Do I have a motion approving that digging request?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes. Item D, correspondence received from Brian Poland, Director of City Planning, requesting comments or objections to the proposed subdivision plat of Erie Lackawanna addition to the city of Hammond. This was sent up before, and I think it's just a clarification. If we have any objections, we should state them in writing and send it back to Brian. I don't think there's really a big issue here. This is an opportunity to help keep a local business here by creating a, pardon? This is,
Is this Corellis thing?
yeah, it's the Corellis one.
Is Dean here?
Yeah, what it does is it creates an area
I
for
know,
their
but there was a
interest.
meeting on this. Is this the Corellis one?
Yeah.
The property? There was a meeting on this last week or this week, so I don't know if they've,
So do you want to do for action?
Brian's not here?
I think we need to.
I just want to make sure it's the right one. Chris, were you?
This is the Corellis,
Erie
the little strip of the Erie Lackawanna right-of-way.
You know what, I'm not very familiar with that at all.
Yeah, well, Brian's just asking us to comment on it. This is his typical form memo that he sends out every time something like this comes. It goes to fire department, park department.
It's not being sold off.
No?
No, they're gonna create a use lease on that for them, I believe.
So do I have a motion to defer action?
I think this needs to be, is it a different one?
No, this is the one that came, this is the one that came last week, and it didn't have a recommendation to us. We also had one for a crosswalk across 169th Street from Corellis. 'Cause
Yeah,
they wanted-
the crosswalk one was a couple weeks ago,
Okay,
but there, if this is the one that it goes onto the trail portion
it does.
where there's vehicles parking, did they change the recommendation?
It's not a recommendation. He's just asking us to review it and forward it back.
The board?
The board. The board is one of the contact parties for any time you have something like this. He also sent it to the fire department, park department, sanitary district, water department, to see if there's any objections to breaking off that little parcel and selling it.
There is, yeah, I think that needs to go. So we don't need action on it at all?
I don't know. What do you think, Chris? Do we need to take action, or?
Who's going to defer to engineering for recommendation for next board?
Well, they got a copy of it, I think. Yeah, city engineer got a copy.
Does he need to respond this week or can we put in?
Well, he said that if he doesn't get a response by January 4th, he's going to assume that we don't object.
We got another meeting a week from today. So it's 29th.
Yeah, let's defer action until the next meeting. I'll call Brian and try to work this out with him before that meeting. Okay?
You need to speak with Dave Weston on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Make a motion to defer action.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those against? Motion passes. Next, we have a revised supplemental agreement with First Group Engineering for the Indiana Harbor Belt Trail from downtown Hammond to the Indiana Toll Road. This does not change the ultimate cost of the contract, which is $480,306, but it does adjust some of the internal items in the contract. It reduces the cost to rehab the bridge, but it increases the survey cost. So do I have a motion approving this supplemental?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Item D, contract for demolition services for 648 119th Street with JM Industrial. It's for $14,400. Do I have a motion approving the contract?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those against, motion passes. Item E, correspondence received from Chief of Police John Doty requesting approval of Officer Anthony Mosier being promoted to the rank of lieutenant as of December 20th, 2016 with a pay adjustment, and Hammond Police Department approval of the Knights of Columbus pierogi drop to be held Saturday, December 31st from 8 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. on January 1st, 2017 in a 1900 block of Atchison. Do I have a motion approving both of these requests?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item F is outline of obligations received from the Fort Wayne Railroad Historical Society for the removal of a railroad display site on Soul Avenue. Did you get a chance to review that, Chris?
Yeah, actually, I was part of drafting it. They wanted a little extra time on some of those matters, but we shortened the time because, for example, that railroad tower, if they're not gonna come get it, we're just gonna dispose of it. It's gonna fall on somebody one of these days if we don't get moving. And the train, they wanted to have until December of next year to remove it, but as you know, the weather gets pretty bad around here, so we made it by the end of fall. And everything's spelled out there. We just pushed back the timeline. So once that's signed, I was gonna copy back to them and they can come and start getting
Yeah,
everything.
they need to give us some kind of route how they're gonna get it out of there, because that thing is extremely heavy and we don't want it going on any streets with shallow sewers.
No, it's gonna be disassembled. They're taking
Oh,
it all apart. It's
okay.
all being taken apart, created up, and
Well, that's
taken
good.
in pieces. It's not gonna be driven
It's
out.
trying to haul it all in one piece. That thing weighs like 80,000 pounds, I think.
Okay.
Okay, so we need a motion approving this agreement.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Item G, representation agreement between Bose Public Affairs Group and the City of Hammond.
Just for legal services, and I would just ask the board to
Right.
approve it.
Do I have a motion approving the agreement with Bose?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those against, motion passes. Item H, order to rescind order to demolish property located at 7431 Chestnut.
That was a property that was on the demolition list, and it's been completely rehabilitated, and I would ask the board just to approve the rescind of the demolition order so that the owner can have clean title.
Make a motion to rescind the order to demolish?
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes. Item I, correspondence received requesting a rental registration hearing. Is there just one or two? Just one.
The 19th, you said?
January 19th?
I'll make a motion to set the hearing for January 19th.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those against? Motion passes. Item J, correspondence received from Mr. Gary Gleason, our esteemed Public Works Director, advising us of a 90-day trial period for residential parking only signs at 6904 through 6923 Magoon. Oh, Gary's in the audience. Hi, Gary. Do I have a motion approving Gary's recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those against, motion passes. Next, we have item K, correspondence received from Mr. Jim DeFresney, requesting permission to place a 30-foot yard dumpster on the curb in front of 6729 Northcott. Gary, is there a parking lane there? Because I wouldn't want him to put it in a traffic lane. I'm trying to think what Northcott looks in.
That's right at the school. It's right.
You got the cemetery on one side, right?
Okay.
And you got residential.
So there's parking lanes. Okay. That's right, no parking on one side, parking on the side where the house is.
Right.
So that shouldn't be a problem. Do I have a motion approving that request?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those against, motion passes. Next, we have a bid recommendation received from Mr. Kelly Kearney, Chief of Inspections, for the demolition bids received on December 15th.
Mr. President, I would just ask you to read those out. They're actually pretty spread out, which is,
Yeah, it looks like almost everybody got something.
it's in the best interest of the city because it lets the project go quicker.
Yeah, and these are all based on the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. 842 114th Street to Adams Landscaping, 523 141st to RSR Demolition, 1941 169th to Acton Contracting, 3321 175th to RSR Demolition, 6518 Alexander and 7618 Alexander to RSR Demolition, 6642 Alexander, the rear only, to JM Industrial Services, 7051 Arizona to IESCO Construction, 939 Bauer, garage only, to Acton Contracting, 5526 Beale Avenue to JM Industrial Services, 2431 Birch Avenue, two rear buildings only, Acton Contracting, 1011 Cleveland Street, two parcels to JM Industrial, 6342 Euclid to Acton Contracting, 917 Kane, garage only, to JM Industrial, 1116 Moss to JM Industrial, 3905 Oakcrest to IESCO Construction, 954 Sibley to RSR Demolition, 958 Sibley to JM Industrial, and 962 Sibley Rear and Garage, 726 Linden, and 7532 Linden to RSR Demolition. So that completes the list. Do I have a motion approving those awards?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those against, motion passes. Item M, demolition hearing on property located at 948 Summer Street.
All right, if you will recall, this was originally set for December the 8th, and poor Attorney Johnson's been here now twice. The reason it was continued from December the 8th is the owner, Lily Brown, back from the dead, has requested some additional time, but she does not appear. So it's just still me and Attorney Johnson.
Basically, the status I have is that we are pending foreclosure. We have filed a motion for judgment in a decree of foreclosure previously in November. As of right now, we are still waiting on that from the court. We don't have a sale date set yet, so title is still vested in Lily Brown. That being said, we have done a few property inspections. I received an update from my client on December 20th, indicating that they had somebody swing by recently. There is apparently some activity there because there was a new notice posted saying to stay out because the property is habitated. That, but they have another property inspection for to see whether or not there's actually living there or it's vacant. At this point, without judgment and without a certain sale date, there's kind of limited remedies that my client can do to fix up and secure the property. That being said, once judgment's in, if we can confirm with the property inspectors that it's vacant, we could potentially try to go for an order of immediate possession for a pre-sale. I do understand this property has a history of violations, somewhat checkered past.
Mr. Johnson's always he's so diplomatic, I love it. This is a property that from the outside, it looks like just any other normal house on the street. Problem is, unfortunately, inside it's a crack house. And it appears that whoever these squatters are, who are not really around because she apparently lives in Illinois, are continuing to use the place as a crack house. So my only concern is it's, going to burn down or someone's going to get shot. There were previous police calls there. So I would just ask the board to please enter an order to demolish. It's going to take us at least 30 to 60 days to bid it out. In the meantime, the bank may or may not be able to secure the judgment and sheriff's deed, or at least let us know if that's the direction they're going to progress towards. But Lily Brown is the one who asked for us to bump it today, and she does not appear.
These people are squatters that are in there?
Yeah, they're not her. She lives in Illinois. We don't know who they are. They claim to be relatives. The last time, I think Don Klein was in there, but, they didn't exactly have ID showing that.
We were originally brought this property from the Hammond Police Department. They did a raid on the property for narcotics. Like the attorney said, that he claimed to be a relative of Lillian, but the police department could not confirm that. They were evicted, the property was attacked, marked uninhabitable, and placed on the demo repair list. There's also mushrooms growing in the basement. I believe we had the power,
And Mr. John, what is the bank's interest in this?
Pursuant to our security interests, after foreclosure, the bank would at least like the chance to inspect it and at least report, try to see if we get
So the mortgage is with you guys?
The mortgage is with me.
I see.
And it's pending foreclosure, and we still don't have title to it, that's what I'm saying.
In the meantime, the city would just like to secure an order of demolition to record on the property in case she somehow redeems the property, or the bank abandons its foreclosure, which does occasionally happen from time to time, then we wouldn't have to start from scratch.
I'm gonna make a motion to enter the order to demolish.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
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 Burn down.
Those against, motion passes.
Things are coming up.
And no problem.
Are there any matters from other board members?
No.
Any matters from other department heads or their representatives? The esteemed Gary Gleason, could you step up to the microphone?
I received information from the board that received a letter from Egger School that they're having a parking problem on Lyman. And so I met with Law, we tried to find out the problem. Well, what I did is I went over there after school, as you can see in the picture, that's Lyman. They've actually shut down a lane of traffic. 4 of the cars there were from Illinois. The rest had Indiana plates on them, and what they're doing is picking up their kids there. So what they're asking for is signage. I went back this morning to see what was happening. What's happening is they're coming from Illinois, stopping, dropping their kid off, and he's walking across Waltham over the bike trail and everything and going into the school. So I don't know, the rest of the prosody could be avoided or whatever they think they're trying to do. So at this time, we're asking to put up a no parking, stopping, or drop off at any time on that side or within Lyman there.
Do we have a motion approving Gary's request to place the no parking signs?
Gary, is that gonna cause any issues with the homeowners?
There's no homeowners.
There's no here? Okay.
Across the
So on
street,
this
that's-
side,
The bike
okay.
trail's on this side.
So these
And this
people
is a
here are,
traffic light.
It's kind of showing you there. It's, the bike trail is where they're parked, across the street is Harrison. There's no homes there.
No, this,
okay.
it's not gonna affect anybody.
And we'll put it on both sides so
Except
that they don't start
bringing their
using the
kids in
park
from
side.
Illinois, it's gonna
Yeah.
affect them.
Mhm.
Okay. We'll make a motion to approve Gary's request.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, motion passes. Anything else, Gary?
No, that was it.
Thanks for coming. Do we have any new business? Do we have any old business? Meeting's open to the public. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to step up? Don't look like it. We have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? Hearing none. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.